Hello, everybody. It's Steve again. Here I am, ready to do another fun live with you. Today, I'm going to do something a little different. The last week or so, I've been doing live intros to people's books. And if you would like to hear your live intro, feel free to send me a message or leave a comment. I would love to do your intro for you. But today, as a Valentine's Day gift, and because I felt inspired, I thought today I would just write a story, or a little story at least here, right in front of you, and just kind of let you in to see live how I do the writing for my books. Now, after I do this, it does go to a story development editor who helps me think through the things that maybe in just verbal creativity I missed. And then, of course, it does go to a grammar editor to clean up some of the grammatically incorrect things, especially that when you go to transcript, it often happens. But this is the basic concept. Sometimes people will ask me, well, Steve, you've done 22 books and you're working on 9 others right now. How do you possibly do that? This is a little bit of insight into how I do this. So with that said, I hope you'll join me on this adventure as I write for you here live the story Hearts Meet, a Valentine's Day story. We never know when love's going to find us. It's always surprising. It always comes when we least expect it. We've figured it all out. We've defined exactly what we're willing to be part of, how love's going to come to us, and how we will feel it. And then it comes in the most unusual ways. We want to define all of the different aspects of what the person we will fall in love with is going to look like, and how they'll act, how old they are, what kind of a job they'll have, how tall they are, how thin they are, whatever that might be. We all have our things, and when we imagine our love, we tend to define them sometimes too clearly. But yet, when love does come, it comes from the most unusual places, in the most unusual ways, just on purpose sometimes, I think, to prove to us that we don't really know anything about love. And yet, when we find it, true love is something that volleys us above anything we could have ever imagined. Close your eyes and imagine the concept. There you are. Maybe it's even in a place that you shouldn't have been. I know none of you ever find yourself. But nonetheless, here he was, in a place that he shouldn't possibly have been. But had he not gone there, he would have never met her. From across a crowded room, their eyes met, and the world was forever changed because of the power that is what we try to define as love. That magical electric connection when two souls that have been in orbit of one another for all of eternity finally find themselves occupying the same physical space, their eyes drinking one another in. And immediately he was lost to her, forever gone to a place that he had always already been. And as her shift ended, he simply asked her if he could take her home. He had no evil or vile intentions whatsoever. He just couldn't imagine another moment of his life when she wasn't right there by his side. She, of course, was a little nervous and scared, even though she too felt deep down inside the undeniable connection between the two of them that had happened really had been acknowledged at that first glance. And so, with the fear still at the back of her mind, she followed the voice inside of her and she let him walk her home. They walked next to each other. In the spirit realm, electric sparks were shooting back and forth between them, like a magnet drawing one another to one another. Their love was already. It wasn't something that was going to be found or going to be happening. It was. And so, as they walked, they became closer and closer. And at one point, almost simultaneously, both of them stopped. They turned and looked at one another. "This is going to seem very out of place, and I apologize in advance," he said. "But I feel something for you. I have a feeling that I've never had before. I do not know how to explain it. I'm not even sure that I want to try to. I feel overly forward in having just said that. But just in case, forever is only this one moment that I'm walking you home. Would it be too forward of me if I just simply held your hand?" She blushed, her head dropping for just a second. And then she looked back up into his eyes. She too realized in that moment how deeply she had already fallen for him. You see, we talk about love at first sight, but it's so much more than that. Because the electrical energy of the love of two souls, it happens long before we ever see it come about in the physical realm. She smiled, and with that, reached out her hand and took his hand in hers. They turned back the direction, walking towards her house. But up and down their arms, the electric fire, that sizzling sensation of touching that one who owned your heart and soul now and forevermore. They both felt it. Had they grabbed a hold of an electric wire, they wouldn't have felt a greater shock. And yet, it wasn't painful at all. It was purely the spirit realm acknowledging into the physical realm what it already knew. For a few moments they walked silently, enjoying the wonderful breeze across their face and the feel of the tingle of their intertwined fingers. And they knew, both of them, they knew deeply inside of them that they were in love. This moment had been many, many years ago, and their love had grown exponentially in every moment that they had been together. They were just as inseparable now, 30 years later, as they had been that very first moment. And though he respected her and had taken time and made sure that it was okay, that moment of their first kiss was all of eternity. They lived their whole lives in the pure touching of their lips together, their spirits in complete union as they knew love. And now, even after the decades, that kiss was still fire. He still felt the flames of love ignite within him every time he even thought of her. Because unlike the puppy love that we all want, those butterfly feelings inside of the pit of our stomach, real love, though so much more powerful, also lasts and lasts, and it grows and grows as each day goes by. And before you know it, the time that really has no meaning, the eternities that you live in every moment, on the calendar, that time has gone by. And you look back now on decades of love and life. And you know that whether you had felt that love for only 1 minute, or you felt it for the eternity that would always exist, that you were the most blessed person in the world because you knew love. I hope all of you know your heart, that your heart meets the Valentine of your life, that if they're not already in your life, that they will come to you. For those of you that know you have your one true love, let them know how special they are today. And for those of you that are still looking, make sure that you love you with all of your heart. You heal the brokennesses inside of yourself. And you remember to always give yourself love too, so that even the electric fire of love can flood your own heart and soul with the love that you give to you. And everyone, whether you're listening to this live or it's years from now that you happen to catch this, I hope today for you will be the happiest of Valentine's days ever. Thanks for being with me. Till we're together again, have a great week.